And we are back. Welcome to That Guy's a Maniac, the podcast, season 3. We are mixing shit up. So this season, we are no longer doing our stupid adverts. We are no longer doing our... What was the thing we did in season 2, Farley?
Oh, the Office skit.
The Office... Oh, God, the Office skit. Painful. What we're doing is we're throwing a quote at each other, and the other person has to guess. So take it away, Farley. What's your quote?
My quote, before I do the quote, I'll just tell people that you can find us at www.thatguysmaniac.co.uk, and you can find us at thatguysmaniac on all the socials. But I have a video game quote. I have 2 video game quotes. 2? Okay. From the same video game. I shall give you them now.
Great. I can't wait.
I was gonna completely ruin it by telling you what they were from.
Okay, I mean that does make it easier for me.
I've got 2 quotes from this game. Don't tell me which game this is from. Okay. Go jump on a dildo, boss.
Go jump on a dildo, boss.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the second quote?
Any thoughts before you have the second one?
I'm going to say it's something like Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I can see, yeah, it's that kind of...
Or Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, I don't know, it's that kind of... Oh, I'll give you the other quote. It won't help.
Good. Great. Can't wait for it.
Mother of balls, my life is awesome.
Mother of balls, my life is awesome. Is it one of the Saints Rows?
No.
I have no idea what this game is.
Go jump on a dildo, boss. Mother of balls, my life is awesome.
It sounds like it could be Grand Theft Auto. You know those random things that people say on the streets as you walk past them?
I think it will rain today.
Go jump on a dildo, boss. I don't know. Tell me what it is.
But the text of it is trying too hard, right? It's trying too hard to be a little bit offensive, but nobody has ever said either of those sentences out loud, right?
Yeah.
And these are both quotes from Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Really?
Yeah. I was replaying it recently to unlock some stuff, and yeah, both of these are in cutscenes. So, Mother of Balls, my life is awesome, makes no sense in the context that it's in. It's 3 guys running away from zombies, and that's the opening shot of the cutscene. Mother of Balls, my life is awesome.
Huh.
And then spoilers, Resident Evil Revelations 2, so you're definitely going to play it. Go jump on a dildo, boss. Happens later in the game if you've made a certain series of choices.
Cool.
Yeah.
What a crazy quote. You literally know I haven't played this game as well.
I know, maybe this will tempt you to.
Yeah, I mean, if there's talk of dildos, I'm all over those games.
I also thought you might get this because I tweeted this from the account last week.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't have Twitter. And you are in charge of the Twitter side of everything.
I know, but hope brings the turn off. So there we go. That was our new gimmick. It was video game quotes. Tell us how you feel, readers. By giving us a ring. If you hate that segment, if you like that segment.
Give us a ring on at thatguysmaniac.co.uk.
Yeah. Tell us if you like it or not. It doesn't matter anyway because we've recorded all the episodes already, and that's the gimmick we've got this week. This month, the series, this season, this year. This year. Prime Minister. These last 4 Prime Ministers. So,
anything else we do special 3? In season 3?
After slightly, say again.
Is there anything special we do in season 3 other than the quote thing?
No.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We keep the intro really tight. That's
Yeah.
the new thing we do.
Yeah, we're really, really good at that, yeah. We never... And we're going to stop going off the rails as well.
Yeah, no tangents. It's a new season, it's a new look.
Shorter episodes as well.
Shorter episodes. And we're going to put them out on time. Starting September 2022. So season 3, what better way to kick off this brand new world of That Guy's Maniac podcasts, video game based podcasts, by looking at Threequels. Trilogies?
Threequels. Because most games have 19 sequels to them. So specifically the third in their franchise chain.
Yeah.
Threequels.
And you might think, well, that was ages ago for some games, but just recently we've had, or coming up, we've got Splatoon 3, Bayonetta 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 3,
Yeah.
Total Warhammer 3, Shadow Warrior 3, Crusader Kings 3, Puzzle Quest 3. All these franchises coming into their third iteration.
Their third iteration, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah. But what would you say? Because the sequels, the second sequel, is, what do you call it? Not sequelitis, but the follow-up syndrome. Oh, God.
Follow-up syndrome. At least it's not follow-down syndrome.
First game comes out, and people either like it or hate it, and then these days, if it hits sells a certain number of copies, it will get a number 2. And it used to be that number 2 was where you finesse the game, I think, right?
Yeah.
First one comes out, it's kind of like if the core concept or story or whatever method is a good enough hook, the second one will come out and just slightly polish things in a way that when you go from the first one to the second one, you don't think there's much of a difference. But when you go from the second one to the first one, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe what life is like.
And then the third one is usually the studio heads think, oh, this game's got enough traction, let's give it its own engine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or doing something wacky, like going to space, or going back in time, or going into 3D.
Yes, there's a lot of going into 3Ds, and probably a lot of the Threequels that we remember, because we remember that process of games being in 2D going into 3D.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is quite a lot of it. Looking into Threequels, some very, very obvious ones that made the move to 3D were Grand Theft Auto or Fallout 3. But I think Fallout 3 becomes a bit of a special case. As much as it is Fallout 3, is it the third in a franchise, or is it a complete reboot and remake with the Oblivion engine? Yeah.
In my Fever Dream notes relating to this episode, I have written the question: how do you count 3?
How do you count 3?
How do you count 3?
I mean, it's a good question. Good question. Question
mark. Right? Because obviously, in video games, unlike the obvious comparator, films. I was going to say books. I guess there are some series. Is it, chronological release? This is the third game in this series, or is it, because in some cases that can be like a director's cut, or a port, or an expanded edition, or an expanded version. Is it the third release, third edition, third port? I've got a little quiz for you. Actually, should we do the quiz now?
So, just quickly, I don't really understand your question. So, you're saying it's the next in a sequence, but it's most definitely, it's always going to be the title, the third title. It might not have 3 in it, but it'll be the third title. It's not like you're going to count Code Veronica or Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube and then Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation. That the PlayStation version isn't the second version or the second one. It's always going to be Resident Evil 4 and then it's followed by Resident Evil 5 in most cases.
Well, Richie, that's a great segue into my quiz for you.
Good.
So I'm going to name a video game series, and I want you to give me the third game in that series.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes. Go. Hit me.
Mario Kart.
Okay, so you had Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart on the Super NES, Mario Kart 64, then it was the GameCube version, which would be Double Dash.
I'm afraid you're wrong, Richie Richards.
I mean, I'm discounting handhelds, therefore it's the third.
It's Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Like, we can't count handhelds there. No.
It's my quiz, and you're wrong.
Ugh.
The next one, and you've got 3 possible answers here. Darkstalkers.
Darkstalkers, okay. Shit. So you got Vampire Savior, Vampire... Oh god. Vampire Hunter. Vampire Savior.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
I'm afraid it's not right. You could have had Vampire Savior World of Darkness, or Vampire Savior The Lord of Vampire, or Darkstalkers 3. Those are all the same game. They get different names based on which version they were. And like the Saturn version, they had 2 characters.
Yeah.
Okay, Resident Evil.
Okay, right. Now I suppose I need to think about this. So you got Resident Evil.
Yes.
Then you had Resident Evil 1.5, the director's cut. Are you counting the director's cut as an entry in this series?
That's a good question, isn't it? I'm just going from the Wikipedia page for games in this series.
In chronological order. So in chronological order.
Hugely flawed because it was really, really difficult. I looked up Mario. Like tried to get a chronological release of Mario. Impossible. And I think the third, just nobody does it, right? Like here's the main series game, here's the spin-off games. No, I just want one big list. So according to this, we are not counting 1.5s for director's cut.
Okay, so we've got Resident Evil.
Yes.
Then Resident Evil 2.
You sound so unsure.
I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. From Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Is it Code Veronica?
No.
Oh.
If you remember, I had a months-long campaign on the blog about how Resident Evil 4 is not Resident Evil 4.
Yes. Because Code Veronica... Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 3, but I'm guessing there was a disgusting Resident Evil Survivor or something like that in between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3.
So what's your answer?
I'm going to say Resident Evil Survivor.
It was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then after that was Resident
You're just
Evil 5.
playing with my head, man. You're just doing trick questions.
Well, you know, I'm not doing trick questions, but you were like, I don't understand what the problem is. I don't understand what your question is.
I mean, like, it is straightforward. Resident Evil 3 is Resident Evil 3. Darkstalkers is 3. I'm playing your game, which is some fucked up chronological weird ass order.
This podcast attest
Yep.
to listen to me like, it's just the third game in the series. It
Yes.
might not be called 3, but it is. And that's what we're doing. Next one.
As in, it's called Mario Kart Double Dash. It's still the third in the series.
Super Circuit. Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Ugh.
It's the third in the series. Introduces new tracks. Some of those tracks come back in later games.
I mean, it's a non-event. I didn't play it.
Right, Legend of Zelda.
Link to the Past.
Yes, well done. Elder Scrolls.
Morrowind.
No.
What?
Absolutely not.
Okay. What is it?
It is an Elder Scrolls Legend Battle Spire.
An Elder Scrolls Legend. A spin-off game.
An Elder Scrolls Legend.
No. It's
Hold
Morrowind. No. Look, I'm not going to take this because it is Elder Scrolls 1, Elder Scrolls 2, Elder Scrolls 3,
No, what-
Morrowind. It is literally called Elder Scrolls 3. I'm struggling to say the word scrolls.
First of all, let's be proper about this. It's the Elder Scrolls Arena. Yes, there's no Elder Scrolls 1. It's Elder Scrolls Arena.
Okay.
The Elder Scrolls 2, Daggerfall.
Yeah.
And Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire.
No, that's spin-off. Yeah.
The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard.
Spin-off.
Then the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Morrowind. Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Thank you. We agree on that one then.
No,
Yes.
you don't.
100%.
You named the 5th game in the series.
No. Elder Scrolls
there.
3.
On season 5 we'll get there, so remember that. Park that. Put a pin in that answer and we'll come back to it. But between now and then we've got 2 more Elder Scrolls. You're doing very badly here. You've got one.
Okay.
Hyperdimension Neptunia. Good luck to you.
Oh my good god.
Good luck to you, sir.
So oh, see, the worst part is
I get a dictionary. Flip to random nouns and try it.
Does it have rebirth in the title?
I'm allowing follow-up questions. No, it doesn't.
No. Okay. Right. Good God. Is it Neptunia U?
No.
Fuck. Okay, so
What do you say? Just keep having some guesses.
Hyperdimension Neptunia 1. Then it was Sisters. 2 was Sisters Revenge or something like that. 3. I feel like it was Neptunia U. That was the fighty one. Damn it. Unless no. There was a fucking Netgear game. Oh, and it's so stupid as well. And it's got the fish guy in it. I know exactly what one it is.
Sounds like you're having some kind of delusion. A fish guy in it.
It does. It literally does. What's it called? I don't know. Let me.
Okay, so you've got Hyperdimension Neptunia, Hyperdimension Neptunia Mark II,
Mark 2.
Hyperdimension Neptunia Victory.
Victory. Ah, damn it.
Then it's Producing Perfection. Then Rebirth.
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, Rebirth 1 is basically a remake of the first one with a new engine.
Then Rebirth 2 Sister Generation. Then Noir. Then Neptunia U. Then Rebirth 3 V Generation.
Yeah.
Nep Connect Chaos Champion.
Yeah, that's a mobile game.
Like the 18th game in that series. I don't really want to talk. Kingdom Hearts.
Oh god. Oh my god. Like is it a mobile gacha version of Kingdom Hearts?
No, this is early on, remember? Early on, where it goes really bad.
Right, so Kingdom Hearts 1 Is that the first in the season?
That is the first
season?
So,
Series.
At the time it was just called Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Then you had what I would like to say is Kingdom Hearts 2.
Right.
Am I right?
No.
Okay. So there was Afterbirth. Underbirth. After. Yeah.
Pulled pork underbelly. The third game in Kingdom Hearts series is Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, so there was the Underbelly, the second one. And I was getting there.
Chain of Memories was the second one.
Chain of Memories. Chain of Underbellies.
Chain
Cool.
of Memories. And then Kingdom Hearts 2. And then Chain of Memories.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Cool.
One so far. Street Fighter.
Oh. Well, again, there was a million iterations of Street Fighter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Are you counting them? Or...
Listen. Just games. Third game in the series. Commercial release.
So... You have Street Fighter. You then have Street Fighter 2. You also have like Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, where you can play as the boss characters. But then there's also like Street Fighter 3 wasn't till much later. I'm gonna say Street Fighter 3.
It was Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition.
I mean, it literally says Street Fighter 2.
Champion Edition.
So, your definition, or your choice of definition here, is fucked. Like, you can't have a million versions of the same game. This goes back to my argument.
And I
Resident Evil 4.
And I quote, it doesn't really matter, it's just the order the games come out.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to have a fruit.
You're just interrupting me because that is over pedantic. You have a game called Street Fighter 2. You also have Resident Evil 4. It came out in the GameCube. It came out in the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 2 doesn't make it the fifth game in the series. And I know. But it doesn't. You can't just say Street Fighter 2 with some words next to it is the third entry. You know, it is Street Fighter 2. Like,
it had a box.
you could go right down to like the first release of some sort of stupid Amiga game that like was the precursor of something. Like, no, just because it had, X character in it. Oh no, Street Fighter 3 is the third in the series, and that is how we're going to approach this episode.
Street Fighter 3 is like the 12th game in the series.
Yeah, no, but that's how we're going to treat this podcast.
What about Street Fighter Alpha?
We're going to treat this podcast
What about EX?
by the third in the series.
What about EX?
What about it? What does EX even stand for?
Whoa.
In fighting games, what does it stand for?
Extra.
Yes. It is the original base game plus something else. So it's the plus...
Right, what base game is it?
Okay, so like...
What's the base game?
Right, the base game is Street Fighter 2. Okay? The base game... Like now, if you got some DLC for Street Fighter 2, where you got an extra character, and then you bought a version of that game, which was Street Fighter 2, which had that extra character in it, is it still Street Fighter 2, or is that the next version, or the next in the series? If it had DLC.
Street Fighter 6 is just a spin-off.
No. Street Fighter 6 is a brand new engine, brand new start. Street Fighter 3, brand new engine, brand new start.
Is that Street Fighter EX?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Same engine, extra stuff in it.
It's the first game.
It's the equivalent.
3D polygons. Yeah. You look it up.
Yeah,
Yeah, do. I'll just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna change your definition now?
No. Street Fighter 3 is still the third one.
Okay.
Okay.
We've got 3 more.
3 more in this rubbish quiz. Go on.
It's really easy, fun. It's just a fun. Doesn't have to frill towel. Pokemon.
Oh god, Ruby and Sapphire.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Third generation. I am drawing the line there. First generation, second generation, third generation is the third in the series. I don't care. I don't care if there was a green. I don't care if there was a Japanese, red, blue.
Yeah.
We have fucking generation 1. We have generation 2. Then we have generation 3. That is all I'm counting. I'm not counting Pokemon, the card game. I'm not counting Pikachu's fucking pinball. Well, it is straight up Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 3.
Can I just tell you the answers?
No.
You could have had Pokemon Blue.
No.
Or Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, Stadium.
Up to you.
Stadium's a spin-off. I'm still going to say Ruby and Sapphire.
Pokemon Stadium has a new engine.
It's a spin-off.
Wario series.
Wario series.
Yeah.
I mean, do you count Wario World? Because that is Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh my god. None of that was correct.
Super Mario Land 3.
Wario Land.
Yeah.
Right. Super Mario Land 3.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know what you were saying about that. Carry on.
But do you count that as the first game, as it is Super Mario Brothers? Super Mario Land 3.
It's the first game in the Wario series, yeah.
Okay. Then I'm gonna say WarioWare. I have no idea. I haven't played any Wario games beyond that.
Wario Land 2.
What?
Oh yeah.
So what is the first, second, and why does that make it the third?
The first game is Wario Land Super Mario Land 3.
Yeah.
The second game is Virtual Boy Wario Land. The third game is Wario Land 2.
Oh, Virtual Boy Wario Land. Is Virtual Boy Wario Land exactly the same as Wario Land on the Game Boy?
No, it's on the Virtual Boy. Different engine.
Different engine.
We should
I mean,
have said that now, don't you?
No, you're being over pedantic in this. There is a very clear dividing line. I will give you Street Fighter EX timeline wise.
What about Alpha as well?
EX plus Alpha.
No, I mean, what about Alpha came in? Alpha, then Alpha 2, then EX, then Street Fighter 3. That's not even counting.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fine. Like the Alpha stuff was good because they brought in the sort of manga style cut.
We literally heard you look at them.
Yeah. I like normally in fighting games, EX has a different definition. That's all. In Street Fighter, it is a new series, and I get it, and that's fine. However, you're wrong, and you're being and defending this wrongness as well. Street Fighter 3. Yeah, okay. I'm happy if there was an in between. You know, I'm happy that there's a Street Fighter 2, then it goes to Alpha or something like that. That's absolutely fine. I can say I was wrong. But fuck off, Pokemon. Like, seriously. And fuck off.
What do you mean?
Like,
why fuck off Pokemon?
Generation 1, Generation 2. Yeah.
There's 3 games. And
Okay, what is the first game in the Pokemon series?
it depends. I'll allow you to have either Pokemon Red or Pokemon Red and Green as one game. I'll give you that. I'll allow that.
Like, fuck, no!
Yeah.
No.
As the first game.
Then we have to go back to the fucking Darkstalker shit, because you were saying that all 3 of those games were identical. 2 of them were fucking Japanese versions and are not playing, and don't even have the same character names as Darkstalkers 3.
Yeah, I know.
But how can you say that they're all the same? You literally said that. Like, we're getting fucking lawyery on each other. Okay? I think... No. Wait, I think we need to stop. Because all we're doing is arguing fucking semantics here.
Shall I do this?
You're very wrong, and I'm also wrong. We are both wrong. You are not right, Farley, in this. Just so you're very, very clear.
I'm not accepting we're both wrong.
We are both fucking wrong. Your quiz is wrong.
You got 1 out of 10.
No, your quiz is wrong.
Got 1 out of 10.
I got 9 out of 10.
Perfectly emphasizing my point, which I made, which you disagreed with, that it's very difficult when it comes to video games. Sometimes
Like, I'm not good. I'm not. Like,
work out what the third game is. That's all I was saying. You perfectly demonstrated, like a little guinea pig, like a little cochon d'Inde in a maze, that is the case.
I'm not putting this episode out anymore. Can we not fucking do experiments on each other in the fucking podcast, eh?
Just, you know, if you'd ace the quiz, I'd be like, oh yeah, maybe it is simple, Richard. But no.
No, it is simple. You overcomplicated it. You made it... Nah. Like, I don't care. Like, I would happily... Like, if we were having this conversation, I would happily have the little... No. I'd happily... No. Yeah, okay, yeah. But if we were talking about a game, if we were talking about Street Fighter 3, I would happily allow that as, you know, it for us to talk about. With a side note of, actually, you know what, it's the 16th in the series because there was all of the alphas and the X's in between. Like, alright, cool. But,
there's no
yeah.
game in Street Fighter 3. There's no such game.
Sure.
Do you mean Street Fighter 3 New Generation or Street Fighter 3 Second Impact? Or Street Fighter 3 Third Strike?
Third Strike.
Okay, that's like the 20th in the series.
Why is it the 20th? Because it was released in arcades, and then it was released in the N64, and then it was released on the PlayStation 1.
No, because in between New Generation and Second Impact, there was Collection EX2 Alpha 3, then 3 Third Strike, then EX3.
I mean, you're just regurgitating Wikipedia at me, right?
I'm just reading a chronological list of games, yes.
On Wikipedia.
Some of it's on Wikipedia, some of it's in my little notebook.
Okay.
I made special little notes.
Yeah. Is it the little notebook that's got "fuck Richie over" written on the front of it?
No,
Aye.
it just says over at the top. Guess the third, and then the date in the top right hand corner. And then, yeah.
We need to move past this.
There's nothing to move past. 1 out of 10. Done.
Oh my god.
Finished. So, what would you say was the third game in it? Because
What I was trying to say there, Farley, before you fucking fucked me over again, was I would happily have us have a conversation about Street Fighter 3, any one of them, and have a side note, you know, sort of saying, oh yeah, blah blah blah, it was in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, if we're talking about the third in a series, again, I would still be quite happy with Double Dash, you know, discounting the fact that there are handheld versions.
But what you're saying is, if you give the answer that Richie has in his head, with no rational reasoning as to why that's the third, that is okay. Any other way of measuring it wrong?
No, I mean, there is a rationale there. There's
Go on now.
a solid... I've just explained it, but...
So we not including handhelds,
No, if you don't want to include the handheld versions of the Mario games,
Right.
then that's fine, or whatever. Because, there's if you wanted to talk about the third Mario game, are we going to include him being in Donkey Kong as Jumpman? Are we going to include Super Mario Brothers, that weird 2-player game? Are we going to include
Mario Brothers?
Yeah, just Mario Brothers. Yeah.
Mario Brothers. That's
And then Super Mario.
That's like the 10th game in the series.
Exactly. Are we going to call that, or are we going to say Super Mario Brothers 3 was the third? Yeah. I mean, I think as a nation, as a nation, as one nation under Richie, as rational human beings, I think we can understand. Okay, yes, it is a little complex, but I am not going to spend a whole podcast talking about an obscure GBA only version of Metroid, which became the third in the series or whatever,
You know what the third Metroid game is?
I think there was 2 on the NES, and the third was the SNES Super Metroid.
Super Metroid. Well done. So you're saying the third Pokemon game is?
I mean, my rationale for that is
Pokemon
Red.
Stadium 2?
No. I would say Pokemon mainline game. Red and Blue are just versions of the same game, and Green can be pumped into that same thing as well.
No, they're not. Blue's different.
Yeah, but slightly different Pokemon, slightly different.
It's different graphics.
Yes, it does have different graphics for the same Pokemon, yes. But I would argue that Blue and Red are pretty much the same game, different versions of the same game. Then you move on to the second generation, which is
Because
Gold and Silver.
The Japanese Red is different to the Red we got.
Yeah, I mean,
So Pokemon Snap's the third Pokemon game, because we don't count handhelds.
we can absolutely count handhelds. I think that Pokemon series deserves to have the handhelds count, because it is very, very much the mainline series. No spin-offs. I'm not talking about Pokemon Stadium. I'm not talking about Snap or anything like that. But I would say the mainline series is on the Game Boy,
Right.
and then eventually Game Boy Advance. The canonical thing would go Generation 1, Red, Blue, Green. Generation 2,
It's not canonical.
it is. And then you get Gold, Silver, and then I think you get... Is Crystal included in Gold and Silver?
Depends, but yeah, Crystal's the third one.
Yeah. And then third generation, you move to the GBA, and that is Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as well. But they, you can see what I mean by Generation 1, they are all versions of the same game. Generation 2, all versions of the same game, expanded, and then the third one is obviously you get lots of versions of it. You get Emerald, Ruby, and Sapphire. I would say that canonically, main series, you're talking about the Pokemon JRPGs as they are standard. I would say that is number 3. Do you see where I'm coming from in that point of view? Regardless of what Wikipedia says.
I do, but I don't think many other people come to the same conclusion.
I think that deep, hardcore Pokemon nerds will absolutely slate me. I think general populace, as a nation, would
As a
agree.
Unless they were like, what the fuck are you talking about, generations? What the hell?
No, I think people understand that generations, people know we're on Generation 8, we're going to move to Generation 9, mainline series. Like, if you look at it in Cerebi, it would come up as Generation 1, Generation 2, Generation 3. And it includes versions of those games in those generations. It would be nuts to say, yeah, Red came out first in Japan, it is first, then Blue came out, so technically the third game is Red for the US, or something like that, you know. That would be too hardcore for me.
Even if it came out 3 years after.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, the only reason it came 3 years after is because Western markets and also the translations.
No, it's because the first games, I think you could only get through like a magazine competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they pretty much play identically and are the same, and you can still do the transferring of Pokemon between them. Yeah, I would still quite happily say that is the first game in the series. Admittedly, yes, they do have different names, Red and Blue, or Red, Blue and Green, Japanese edition, US edition,
International edition.
Yeah. But yeah, I would still say that is the first game in the series. But like, I mean, what else are we going to talk about in this podcast? Because we've spent, like, I don't know, 45 minutes talking specifically about the semantics of the third in the series, and got my heart rate up quite a lot.
Okay. What are good third games in the series? Metal Gear Solid 3, GTA 3, Third Strike, Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Metroid, Devil May Cry 3.
Oh dear.
What are your favourite third ones?
Alright, okay, fine. We made a better podcast by making Richie angry.
What are your favourite third ones?
I don't know, I lost my list.
Okay. How about some third games which were bad? I've got Dino Crisis 3, Lost Planet 3 times Crisis 3.
You're angry at me. You're being passive aggressive here. Alright, I hear your point.
Welcome back, everybody. Season 3, great podcast.
Alright.
Guys, maniac!
Why did he bite me?